Jane's eyes slowly opened, her mind foggy from another sleepless night. She rubbed the exhaustion from her eyes, knowing she had to get up and start her day. As a single mother of two, Jane's days were filled with endless tasks. She lived in a small, cozy apartment on the outskirts of town, where the rent was affordable but the neighborhood was rough. She quickly got dressed in the same worn jeans and faded t-shirt she'd been wearing for days, and began making breakfast for her kids, Emily and Jack. They were her world, and she would do anything to give them the best life possible. But it was tough. Jane's husband had left when the kids were young, and she'd been struggling to make ends meet ever since. As she poured cereal into bowls, Jane's mind wandered to the stack of unpaid bills on her kitchen counter. She worked 2 jobs to try to keep up, but it seemed like no matter how hard she worked, she was always one step behind. The electricity bill was overdue, and the landlord was threatening to evict them if she didn't pay the rent soon. After getting the kids off to school, Jane headed to her first job as a waitress at a local diner. Her feet ached by the end of her shift, but she knew she had to keep going. She clocked out and headed to her second job as a cleaning lady, scrubbing toilets and vacuuming floors for wealthy families who lived in the nice part of town. As she worked, Jane felt like she was losing herself. She was just going through the motions, trying to survive. She felt like she was drowning in a sea of responsibility, with no lifeline in sight. She began to wonder if this was all there was to life. One day, Jane hit rock bottom. She was sitting on her couch, surrounded by piles of dirty laundry and unpaid bills, feeling like she just couldn't do it anymore. She broke down in tears, feeling overwhelmed and alone. She felt like she was staring into the abyss, with no safety net to catch her if she fell. But as she cried, something inside of Jane clicked. She realized that she couldn't give up. She had to keep fighting, for herself and for her kids. She wiped away her tears and picked up the phone, calling a local counseling service. She had heard about it from a friend, and she decided it was time to reach out for help. The counselor's name was Sarah, and she was kind and compassionate. She listened to Jane's story, nodding along as Jane poured out her heart. Sarah offered words of encouragement, reminding Jane that she was strong and capable, and that she didn't have to face her challenges alone. With Sarah's help, Jane began to rebuild her life. She learned to prioritize self-care, taking time for herself each day to relax and recharge. She started taking classes at a local community college, pursuing a degree in business. She had always been interested in business, and she decided it was time to pursue her passion. As Jane gained confidence and skills, she began to see a way out of her struggles. She started a small business, selling handmade crafts online. She had always been crafty, and she decided to turn her hobby into a career. It wasn't easy, but she was determined to make it work. Jane spent long hours building her business, juggling her responsibilities as a single mom with her duties as an entrepreneur. She faced setbacks and failures along the way, but she refused to give up. She kept pushing forward, driven by her determination to create a better life for herself and her kids. A year later, Jane's business was thriving. She was able to quit her second job and focus on her business full-time. She was proud of herself, and her kids were proud of her too. Emily and Jack were thriving in school, and they were happy to see their mom happy. As Jane looked around her cozy living room, filled with the handmade crafts she loved to make, she felt a sense of peace. She knew that she still had tough days ahead, but she also knew that she had the strength to overcome them. She had found her inner strength, and she was determined to use it to create a brighter future for herself and her kids. No matter what challenges we face, we have the power to rise above them. We just have to tap into our inner strength, and never give up on ourselves.